Y'all ready for this?
Well, good morning, everybody. It's up there, y'all. Wednesday. Welcome to another Blind United. Oh my goodness, I'm backed up this morning. Coffee time with Blind United. Get my tongue right this morning. I got Brittany, Carol, and Pedro with me today. Good morning, y'all.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Hump Day. Hump Day. Hump the ones you love.
Uh, that's right.
Hey, good one, wonderful Wishfield Wednesday to everybody.
It's the middle of the week, and we're gonna see if we can make this happen. So Pedro must have his hands full right now. So I'm going to talk about these interest groups we got today. We got we're gonna start your day about 2 o'clock with Deborah Erickson in the Blind Kitchen. And today she's gonna be talking about cutting techniques, tools, stuff like that in the kitchen. She actually has some amazing gloves that you can wear, and according to what she said, you won't cut yourself, so you ain't got to worry about chopping the tip of your finger off when you're trying to chop up them vegetables and stuff y'all love to eat. So come check that out at 2 o'clock, and then 4 o'clock p.m. Uh, as Brittany would say, PlayStation time. We got Sean with the AI. So introduction to AI, and this first time Sean be back in a minute. He had to take off what last month for CSUN, so but he's here today, and we're gonna see what tips and tricks he got for us on the how to use AI. So that's 4 o'clock, and then 7 o'clock we got Brother Pedro here, Daredevil as he got on the screen now. So AKA and his technology. So I'll let him tell you about what he's doing tonight.
Yeah, so what's up, guys? Good morning. I'm gonna be covering accessibility features more in the topic of the touch part of the menu and the settings. That includes like shake to undo, assistive touch, hang up call with lock button, and other goodies that we may want to utilize. Um, Even if you might suffer from certain mobility issues, this could actually help you too because you could adjust the time that the screen reacts to your touch. So if you can't double tap as fast, this could be a workaround for someone. Um, they may need it. Also, we're going to take a look at VoiceOver Rotor and the items and what they do, because they got some good ones. I know most popular one that everybody may have is character, word, line, select, select text, maybe the speech. But they have other good ones like navigation. You could do vertical navigation. So if you want to navigate left and right, but also want to navigate vertically, you're able to do that. So, um, for example, if you touch your status bar and you swipe all the way to the right and you get to the last item, that is the battery, it stays there. And if you wipe down, it's it's other characters gonna read you or a word. But if you have the vertical navigation and you swipe down, it's gonna jump down to the bottom app on your home screen. So there got different options you could use that we can utilize and make our rotor pretty neat, including navigate by text fields or search fields. And I do these a lot. especially when I'm navigating a page and then I would just want to look for the search field. I just turn my rotor to the search field, swipe up or down, and then lands there and it's ready to go. I don't have to swipe all around. So if you guys are interested in that, come join us. Come join us at 7 PlayStation time tonight.
All
Yeah.
right, sounds good. And we got some people commenting. Facebook user said, "What's up?" So, what's up, Facebook user? And another Facebook user, or maybe the same Facebook user, said, "Hey guys." So, hey.
Hey, what's up? Good
Hey,
morning.
hey.
Hey,
Either
hey.
either let StreamYard know who you are or put your name in there so we can shout you out. So, but we still appreciate you. So,
Mhm.
all right. Well, 7 o'clock. We'll all about customizing your phone to do what you want it to do, the way you want to do it.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. And a future class, guys, that I'm bringing after this one is gonna be I'm gonna have some images and we're gonna run them to 3 different AI models for description, and we're gonna compare the description. So if you like a certain app and you want a certain app to use, you could choose. So we're gonna look at the differences on how they describe pictures and how ease of use also. So stay tuned for that one.
so that's what next month in May,
Yeah, that'd be the
uh,
first
first week in May, first Wednesday in May. All right,
hmm
And
all
it
right.
was Roy who's commenting. Just so, good morning,
It was who, Chris?
Roy.
Oh, Roy. Well,
Hey
he's
Roy.
well, he's supposed to be in town. You know who that is, right, Brittany?
Yeah. He's in town.
He's supposed to be.
Oh, okay, that's what's up.
Okay. Well. Okay. Well, let's move on with what we got going on. Let's pay some bills, and then we're gonna get into what we got to conversate about today.
Well, actually, we're gonna play the first article.
Okay. Do your thing. I tell me to shut up whenever you get ready.
I'm just trying to follow the.
Oh, and Aletha said hello. So hello, Aletha, and check out Aletha's Humble Life. That's her
Hey,
YouTube
Alisa.
channel. So
Okay. Yeah. Hey, baby girl. Yeah, she's supposed to be starting with us in May with her makeup group.
Okay. All right, we're gonna hit the first article, guys.
Sony wants to use the PS5 controller to output Braille. A recently published Sony patent reveals development on a controller integration that would output Braille, increasing accessibility for players. Sony's latest patent reveals the PS5 controller may feature Braille integration for visually impaired players, enhancing accessibility in gaming. The Braille system would use vibrations on the touchpad to mimic Braille text, allowing players to feel pulses for subtitles and on-screen text. While the Braille system offers potential for improved gaming experiences, it's important to note that not all Sony patents come to fruition. A recent patent publication has revealed that Sony is working on a Braille integration system for the PlayStation 5 controller, which would allow visually impaired players to use the PS5 controller touchpad to feel vibrations that can be read as Braille. This latest patent joins a growing number of recent Sony patents targeting accessibility that have given audiences some insight into the company's research and development efforts. An undeniable powerhouse in the technology and gaming industries, Sony has pioneered a number of developments over the years in television, sound, and gaming hardware. Its software achievements have been of key focus in recent months, with a variety of patent systems revealing the potential for exciting new features. According to a patent filed by Sony, the company is working on a way to integrate vibrations in the PS5 controller touchpad to mimic Braille, allowing visually impaired players to read subtitles on the controller. The system would utilize the PS5's haptic feedback and vibration function to replicate Braille text in the form of pulses on the touchpad. Visually impaired players would be able to drag their finger across the touchpad and feel these pulses, similar to feeling printed Braille. In doing so, these players would be able to read subtitles and other on-screen text, improving accessibility in gaming. However, it is key to note that patents are frequently filed by Sony and other companies that are then never fully developed, so there is no guarantee that this Braille system will ever be made available to the public. Sony PS5 Controller Braille System Patent Details. As detailed in the Sony Braille System patent, the pre-existing haptic feedback and vibration functions of a PS5 controller could be utilized to mimic Braille. Players would have the ability to read Braille using the PS5 touchpad and would even be able to control the speed of the text and related cutscenes based on how slowly or quickly they drag their finger across the touchpad. Text would start once the player touches the left edge of the touchpad, with the next section beginning only once they reach the right edge of the touchpad. This would allow players to experience entire cutscenes through vibration alone while ensuring the audio does not outpace the Braille pulses. While this Braille system would greatly improve gaming opportunities for visually impaired players, Sony has not yet confirmed if the system, or any other Sony software patents, will actually be rolled out to users. Accessibility continues to be a key focus for many in the video game industry, which has been clearly reflected in the recent patent publications of Sony and other big-name companies. Whether players will get to experience the Braille integration system remains to be seen, but many are hopeful that the focus on accessibility in many Sony patents will, in time, result in improved gaming for diverse audiences. Now back to the Coffee Time crew.
All
Wow,
right.
that's so cool. I'm excited for that. But so this is just me. Like, why don't they just put a screen reader to read the subtitles or whatever? Like, I mean, it's a cool idea in theory, but wouldn't a screen reader be equally as awesome?
They do have it. The thing
Okay.
is, yeah, and I think it would probably be for someone that's low hearing in the blind community, I guess you could say.
So
Because
maybe
you're right.
somebody that's like deafblind, maybe.
Yes, yes, and that's a small part in our community, but there is people like that. I met someone that was doing art, and he was deaf and blind.
Okay, that makes sense. Or like, wouldn't it be, I don't know, also cool to maybe have a way that a person who's deafblind could like hook up their braille display to the PlayStation so that they can read it that way.
Oh,
I mean, I think that would be pretty cool.
that'd be
And
pretty
probably,
cool.
I don't know.
Yeah, that does sound very neat.
That'd be
Mm-hmm.
cool because you sometimes in a game you need to do like, let's say for football, you need to do plays, and you need not you don't want the screen reader staying the whole play. You know what I mean? And stuff. So that'd be pretty dope. This control and the way they trying to think and the technology they trying to do sounds pretty dope. With the
I'm still trying to
vibration.
figure out how they gonna make tactile vibrations, right?
They already have it.
Right, but I mean, how do you make that feel like Braille? That's what I'm getting at.
Because, okay, they could split the vibrations in half. One for your left hand while you're holding the left part of the remote, one on your right hand. And each one could vibrate one, two, or three times. You know what I mean? And the other one also. And I don't know. They probably have something worked out. They just probably want the hardware plans to be
So
there.
basically, what you're saying, Pedro, is like you'd have to count the vibrations for the braille cell. So, like, let's say it
Right.
vibrates once, that'll be like an A. If it vibrated twice, that would be like a B. And maybe if it vibrated once on the
Wouldn't
left and once on the right,
wouldn't
it'd
it
be
be
a
a B?
C. Like, how
Yeah.
would that work
B,
exactly?
because no, isn't B is what 1-4, right?
No, B is 1 and 2, Ed.
Oh, okay. I
And
told you I
then
can't do
C
Braille,
would
so
be 1 and 4. So I'm assuming like one vibration on the left and then one on
right.
the
That's what
right,
I was
maybe.
thinking on that one.
Yeah,
But
but they also did say you have to touch the touchpad, and that's in the center. So maybe if they put a haptic feedback on that pad, that it vibrates while you're touching it and you're scrolling, like they were saying, that could be it. But that could slow you down. But in
yeah,
certain games, that'd be dope because you need to get some secret plays in or something, do something secretly. You know what I mean? That the
Right.
other person don't gotta know. And if the screen reader reads it out loud, Everybody just
Everybody's
found
gonna
out.
know.
Right,
Hmm.
Yeah,
right.
And
yeah.
it
So
vibrates already, doesn't it, Pedro? I mean, that I can remember when I used to play. It vibrates to kind of let you know, when you're
yeah,
attacking someone.
Right.
it
Yeah.
I know
does.
when I used to crash them cars in Gran Turismo, it let me know I crashed.
Right.
Yes, yes. Um, Also, when I was at CSUN, they had a control. You put your whole hand on it, and it was for people that had mobility issues, and they were able to
Hmm.
play the game. But anybody could put their hand and use it like that. It was pretty dope. I was like, "Whoa, let's check this out." Then you could connect like a little joystick to it too, and it's like an old school arcade joystick.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was pretty dope. That's pretty dope. So
But I'm
Sony's.
glad to see that they moving in that direction as well. I mean, I'm glad to see a lot of people are starting to pay more attention to the community and our needs, and I understand we want to do this stuff just like everybody else. So
Yeah,
You're
well,
give
right. Because, like I had shared earlier, I had given away my PlayStation 1, my Super Nintendo, and those are classics, but I gave them away because I no longer could see how to work them, and they didn't have those features, those accessibility
right,
things.
right.
yeah, yeah. So
Um,
they're doing that's good. You know, they have certain games now that is pretty dope that we're able to access it, even someone completely blind. And there is games for different stages of blindness. Is what I saw when I went through the options on the PlayStation, guys. So some games might not be compatible for somebody that's completely blind, but they do have high contrast, highlight items, and other features. So if you're a high partial or a low partial, you might be able to get into these games. So, just check that out. And, on that note, we're going to pay some bills.
If you'd like to know more about Blind United, you can visit our website at blindunited.org. You can email us at info@blindunited.org. You can call us at 909-846-8825. You can follow us on Instagram at Blind United Interest Groups. You can follow us on X at Blind United 22. You can watch our YouTube channel, Blind United. You could join our Facebook group, Blind United Interest Groups, or you can follow our Facebook page, Blind United.
You are cordially invited to Blind United's Color Party fundraiser on May 25th, 2024. Time 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. Cost $15 per person, and advance deadline is May 6th, 2024. For more information, email at info@blindunited.com. Include in the subject line Color Party flyer. Now back to coffee time. You are cordially invited to Blind United's scholarship ceremony. Please join us in awarding 2 scholarship recipients in honor of Les Subotnick. Date: Sunday, May 19th, 2024, held at Rodrigo's Mexican Restaurant, 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. and Omni-access service goes there. Cost per person $37 in advance, which includes your meal, tax and gratuity. Deadline to turn in money, your meal selection, and beverage will be Tuesday, May 7th, 2024. You can contact Cheryl Thurston at cthurston74@gmail.com. We will see you there. Now back to the show.
all right. Well, sorry about that if y'all heard my phone ringing. We got to silence it before we got started.
It happens to the best of us. But yep,
So,
if you
but
want to go to the scholarship dinner, contact Cheryl. I already put my order in for my shrimp tacos. So
that's right. That's right. Well, I got my burrito hooked up, and everybody need to also understand we're not making a dime on that. That's that $37 that covers everything but your alcohol. If you want some alcohol, you need to have some cash with you. But no, this is not about Blind United. This is about Les. This is about the people we're getting ready to get this money to. It's a way to say thank you to everybody that donated and helped, pull this together and make it happen. So, Hey, if you ain't doing nothing, you do less. You want to come out and share a story about less, whatever the case may be. You want to celebrate less than the guy he was, because he was definitely a good guy in our community as far as I'm concerned. So come on out and hang out. Let's have some fun, eat some Mexican food, and share some stories.
Yep, and the deadline to turn in your money is May 7th. So, and remember to, if you're going to turn in your money, Zell us at blindunited2022@gmail.com.
Blind United Inc. Yeah. All right. So what you got next for us, Pedro?
All right, I got something that we all may have heard, maybe not, but it's artificial vision.
The next frontier for brain implants is artificial vision. Elon Musk's Neuralink and others are developing devices that could provide blind people with a crude sense of sight. Brian Bussard has 25 tiny chips in his brain. They were installed in February 2022 as part of a study testing a wireless device designed to produce rudimentary vision in blind people. Bussard is the first participant. Bussard, who's 56, lost vision in his left eye at age 17 after his retina detached. The right eye followed in 2016, leaving him completely blind. He remembers the exact moment it happened. "It was the hardest thing I've ever gone through," he says. Eventually, he learned to adapt. In 2021, he heard about a trial of a visual prosthesis at Illinois Institute of Technology in Chicago. Researchers cautioned that the device was experimental and he shouldn't expect to regain the level of vision he had before. Still, he was intrigued enough to sign up. Thanks to the chips in his brain, Bussard now has very limited artificial vision, what he describes as blips on a radar screen. With the implant, he can perceive people and objects represented in white and iridescent dots. Bussard is one of a small number of blind individuals around the world who have risked brain surgery to get a visual prosthesis. In Spain, researchers at Miguel Hernández University have implanted 4 people with a similar system. The trials are the culmination of decades of research. There's interest from industry, too. California-based Cortigent is developing the Orion, which has been implanted in 6 volunteers. Elon Musk's Neuralink is also working on a brain implant for vision. In an X post in March, Musk said Neuralink's device, called BlindSight, is already working in monkeys. He added, "Resolution will be low at first, like early Nintendo graphics, but ultimately may exceed normal human vision." That last prediction is unlikely, considering vision is such a complex process. There are huge technical barriers to improving the quality of what people are able to see with a brain implant. Yet, even generating rudimentary sight could provide blind individuals with greater independence in their everyday lives. This is not about getting biological vision back, says Philip Troik, a professor of biomedical engineering at Illinois Tech, who's leading the study Bussard is in. This is about exploring what artificial vision could be. When light hits the eye, it first passes through the cornea and the lens, the outer and middle layers of the eye. When light reaches the back of the eye, the retina, cells they're called photoreceptors convert it into electrical signals. These electrical signals travel through the optic nerve to the brain, which interprets those signals as the images we see. Without an intact retina or optic nerve, the eyes can't communicate with the brain. This is the case for many people with total blindness. The types of devices that Troik and Neuralink are building bypass the eye and optic nerve completely, sending information straight to the brain. Because of this, they have the potential to address any cause of blindness, whether due to eye disease or trauma. The specific brain region that processes information received from the eyes is called the visual cortex. Its location at the back of the head makes it easily accessible for an implant. To place the 25 chips in Bussard's brain, surgeons performed a routine craniotomy to remove a piece of his skull. The chips in Bussard's brain are actually miniaturized stimulators that emit a mild electrical current. One chip is about the size of a pencil eraser and contains 16 tiny electrodes, each thinner than a human hair. Each electrode can be controlled individually. Altogether, Bussard has 400 implanted electrodes. It's like a cell phone network in your brain, Troik says. A camera mounted to a pair of glasses captures Bussard's surroundings. Those images are processed with special software and translated into commands that talk to the network of chips, turning on individual electrodes to stimulate neurons. The stimulation produces visual perceptions called phosphenes that look like dots of light, except no light is actually reaching the eye. Because the stimulators are clustered in one part of the visual cortex, Bussard only sees phosphenes in the lower left part of his visual field. But it's enough to improve his ability to navigate in a room and perform basic tasks, such as picking out a plate among 4 different objects on a table. Producing better images is one of the major challenges of these systems. The more electrodes you have, the more phosphenes you could produce in theory, and the more complex shapes you could generate artificially, says Xing Chen, assistant professor of ophthalmology at the University of Pittsburgh. Last year, Chen and her colleagues published a study on a visual prosthesis they created with 1,024 electrodes. When they tested the system in monkeys, it allowed the animals to recognize artificially generated letters. To restore low vision in people, estimates of the number of electrodes needed range in the hundreds to thousands. But Troik thinks it's not so much the number of electrodes, but their location that's important. Spreading them out across the visual cortex could produce more spots of light across a larger visual field. The trade-off, though, is that could mean a more invasive surgery. In the study at Miguel Hernández University in Spain, volunteers received just one implanted device containing 100 electrodes. Yet even that system allowed a 60-year-old woman to identify lines, shapes, and simple letters, according to results published in 2021. Researchers have since replicated the findings in 3 additional blind volunteers, according to Eduardo Fernandez, the neuroscientist leading the study. He stresses that artificial vision is not like seeing again. His main goal is to improve orientation and mobility in blind people. In one test, a man wearing the prosthesis is able to avoid objects while walking on a treadmill in front of a virtual reality video screen. In the future, Fernandez wants to add more electrodes to increase the number of phosphenes to produce more detailed images. For now, his team is learning a lot from the study's 4 initial volunteers. Everyone's visual cortex is a little bit different, so researchers have to experiment with the placement of the implanted electrodes and how much electrical stimulation to deliver. We customize the stimulation for each volunteer, Fernandez says. Tailoring the implants for optimal performance is a challenge. In early experiments at producing artificial vision, researchers used large electrodes placed on the brain's surface that needed relatively high electrical currents to produce phosphenes. The stimulation sometimes caused seizures, pain, and damage to the brain tissue. Chin says there's a balance between needing a strong enough current that induces phosphenes but doesn't cause unwanted side effects. Another hurdle is the longevity of devices that are implanted in the brain. In the studies from Pittsburgh and Spain, researchers used a rigid device called a Utah array, a square grid of 100 tiny silicon needles, each with an electrode at the tip. The Utah array can last months to years, but can stop working when scar tissue forms around the implant and interferes with its ability to pick up signals from nearby neurons. The Illinois team's implants look like the heads of miniature hairbrushes and are made of iridium oxide, a type of metal. Neuralink and others are developing devices with smaller, more flexible electrodes that penetrate the brain. For instance, Neuralink's coin-shaped device sits in the skull with thin, thread-like electrodes extending into the brain tissue. Chin says softer electrodes have the potential to improve an implant's longevity, but it remains to be seen how long these alternatives will last in the brain. Another unanswered question is whether the duration of a person's blindness will affect how well these devices work. The first participant in the Spanish study had been blind for 16 years and yet was able to see crude shapes. And Bussard had been completely blind for 6 years. We do know that after years of blindness, the visual system starts to degenerate, Chin says. It's possible that the sooner you are able to intervene, the better, although this remains to be systematically studied and proven. In a November 2022 event, Musk claimed that even if someone has never had vision ever, like they were born blind, we believe we can still restore vision. Fernandez isn't so sure, but notes that restoring vision in someone born blind has never been tried before. He says in theory, a person would need to have a functioning visual cortex. But people who are born blind have never used that part of the brain to process visual information. Right now, Bussard is limited to using his visual prosthesis in the lab, where researchers can control the stimulation. Troik and his colleagues are working on a mobile system so that future study participants could use the device at home. Troik is looking for additional volunteers who lost their vision as an adult, but who had normal or near normal vision for at least the first 10 years of life. In the Spanish study, participants are implanted with the visual prosthesis for 6 months before having it removed as part of the trial protocol. Bussard says he would love to use the device outside the lab. He has a dog who's deaf and partially blind, and he jokes that it would be a lot easier to find his dog if he could use his prosthesis at home. But he knows he may not benefit much from the device in his lifetime. I'm not necessarily doing this for me, he says of his participation in the trial. I'm doing this for future generations. Now back to the coffee time crew.
Well, first response, what is Elon Musk not doing?
Right.
I mean, he got his fingers in all kind of stuff, but smart guy, I guess. I mean,
He's one of them. He's I know there's other companies that mentioned in the article, so we have different companies working on stuff. One of the things that I noticed in the beginning of the article, artificial. This aims to give crude vision to
right,
blind folks.
right.
I was like, oh my God, you're not making us want it.
Well,
Right.
I mean, but again, it's just they're not trying to oversell it, Pedro. I mean, it's going to be a long time, if ever, that they can reproduce what
Full
we could
sight,
see.
huh?
Yeah. What we actually seen. I don't think they're going to be able to do that, my brother. I really don't.
It's gonna take it's gonna take a lot of those little probes they put in on your brain, like how they were saying in the article,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
and I know they're trying on biology, on for instead of using technology to do a bionic retina. That's what they were talking about too in another article I read. But I know I've been hearing about this, the Neuralink, and these other ones. And the first thought, the first thought that came to my mind was the first iPhone was dope. It was something new. It was amazing. And then the second one came out. The third one came out. So I'm like, we just gotta wait. This is gonna improve little by little.
right. Well, and then again, they've had some stuff out there before. I mean, this year's, more recently, but I remember again there was some stuff where people were having this done, I don't know, maybe 20 years ago at the most. I mean, it was just a couple little sensors and whatever. And, they weren't totally blind. They were trying to, in essence, give them some usable vision. And they were using glasses to make it happen. So again, it's just baby steps, man. I mean,
Yeah,
I
that
mean,
was more of a chip that they implant in your retina,
uh,
and
but
and it connects to these glasses with a little camera in the middle. I remember something like that.
yeah.
Right. Right. I remember hearing about that as well.
So again, I mean, it's coming. It's coming. I mean, when that first came out, the first thing came to mind was, Geordi on, was it Star Trek Next Generation, whatever.
Right.
What
Those glasses.
was LeVar Burton, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, it was LeVar Burton. Mhm.
Yeah, had to wear them goggle type glasses.
They were
But
pretty neat, and I think they were gold.
yeah, well they were silver with a gold mesh in them.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, it's coming. I mean, and don't get me wrong, if they give me the ability to navigate, again and not walk over people and all of that kind of stuff, I'd be happy with that. Just the freedom to get out there and move around. I mean, we ain't even want to talk about trying to drive a car, but just to be able to get out there.
Well, they have cars now that drive you. So,
well, I mean, that's true. But again, just being able to, well, I guess if I could afford one, I could afford the other one, right?
Right.
So,
I just wonder will there be updates, like with the phones, as the AI improves, do you always have to go back and have surgery again to get the enhanced version?
Well, yeah, they have a limited lifespan in a way because of the tissue healing around the sensor. So
Oh, what
that
they were talking
scar
about the
tissue.
scar tissue. Yes,
hmm
right. So, I mean, again, they don't even know how long this is going to last, how long it's going to be able to fix somebody's vision.
right.
I mean, they say just they ain't even trying to go there yet, according to the trial guidelines. You put it in, take it back out 6 months later.
That's right. Well, at least we know it's promising. It's something out there that, they are catering to the community for those of us who may want to have some form of vision that do not have vision. So,
and understand, you got to have the mentality that the gentleman in the article has. He's not doing it for him. He's doing it for future generations.
Correct.
I mean, he's enjoying the process, but again, they're not going to have it to where, we can use it for many years.
Correct.
So.
And plus, he's in a lab setting. He hasn't even gone out and tried. Who knows if he's seen like the outside,
Right. They want to they want to take very, very little small steps with this. Like I said, they just working on something now to where, they basically, I guess, do it through an app on your phone or whatever and be able to take it home with you and be able to do it at home versus being in the lab,
Because God forbid you have that surgery and then you try to warm something up in the microwave and you just have an extreme headache based on the microwave.
Well, that would be jacked up too. But I mean, they're going to work all that part out before they let us have it. That's for sure.
That's true.
See, that's why I believe in guidelines and regulations.
Right.
It's all about safety, They need to make sure they throw some guardrails up on all this AI stuff. That's all I can say. But there's some serious guardrails in place.
Yeah, that's true. And that note, we're gonna pay some bills, guys. We'll be back.
If you'd like to know more about Blind United, you can visit our website at blindunited.org. You can email us at info@blindunited.org. You can call us at 909-846-8825. You can follow us on Instagram at Blind United Interest Groups. You can follow us on X at Blind United 22. You can watch our YouTube channel, Blind United. You could join our Facebook group, Blind United Interest Groups, or you can follow our Facebook page, Blind United.
You are cordially invited to Blind United's Color Party fundraiser on May 25th, 2024. Time 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. Cost $15 per person. In advance. Deadline is May 6th, 2024. For more information, email at info@blindunited.com. Include in the subject line Color Party flyer. Now back to coffee time. You are cordially invited to Blind United's scholarship ceremony. Please join us in awarding 2 scholarship recipients in honor of Les Subotnick. Date: Sunday, May 19th, 2024. Held at Rodrigo's Mexican Restaurant. 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. and Omni-access service goes there. Cost per person $37 in advance, which includes your meal, tax and gratuity. Deadline to turn in money, your meal selection, and beverage will be Tuesday, May 7th, 2024. You can contact Cheryl Thurston at cthurston74@gmail.com. We will see you there. Now back to the show.
All righty then. Also, while we got another hot minute, we don't have a commercial for this one, but again, we're collecting canes for You Can't Give. Jimmy's trying to take care of some folks in third world countries that can't get a cane, and we try to do our part to help him gather those canes. So grab that old cane you got sitting in the corner, ain't using, the one that's broke and piled up in a mess on the floor. As long as you got all the pieces, put it in a box, put it in a bag, put it in something, and send it to either You Can't Give that. You go to youcan'tgive.org and print out a label, or you can get at us at info@blindunited.org, and we'll get you a label or whatever where you can ship the canes to either us or Jimmy, and we can help him out and get some canes and folks that really, 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 really need them, because I don't know what I would do without my cane. And these folks are just out there living life without one. I can't imagine that. I really can't. So we want to do everything we can to help them get something to help them keep from tripping over everything. So.
All right. On that note, I've got another article for us to listen to.
Petition by disabled people opposes Disney's discriminatory Disability Access Service updates. Disabled people are speaking out against Disney's announced changes to the Disability Access Service, DS, via the DS Defenders Coalition. The coalition, comprised of over 140 individuals from the disabled community and their supporters, wrote in a letter to Disney that they are deeply concerned about the recent alterations to DS. The updates to the Disability Access Service, scheduled to go into effect at Walt Disney World in May and Disneyland Resort in June, restrict services to guests with developmental disabilities such as autism. The DS Defenders list individuals that this restriction excludes, including cancer patients, guests with PTSD, narcoleptics, POTS sufferers, multiple sclerosis patients, low vision individuals, oxygen tank users, and more. By excluding a broad range of disabilities that cannot tolerate lines for medical reasons, the letter states, Disney is putting individuals in jeopardizing situations. They call the updated policy ableist and belittling. The DS Defenders address Disney's promise to introduce a return-to-queue option for guests who may need to leave a line to use the restroom, calling this impractical and insensitive. They say a guest leaving a line and returning could lead to discriminatory hate, harassment, potentially violent situations, and unnecessary negative attention from fellow parkgoers who are not aware of, and shouldn't have to be aware of, one's personal condition. Quote, we believe that Disney, as a global leader in entertainment and hospitality with a value exceeding $200 billion, should uphold its reputation as a beacon of inclusivity and joy for everyone. By excluding many disabled individuals from these cherished experiences, Disney not only perpetuates discrimination, but also sends a clear message that the rights and needs of the disabled community can be overlooked. DS Defenders petition. DS Defenders also says that suggesting disabled guests use rider switch ignores those who travel alone or with fellow disabled people, while suggesting guests purchase Genie Plus is unjust, as disabled individuals already face higher living expenses compared to their able-bodied counterparts. They state they are committed to working collaboratively with Disney and list the following requests. Disney revises its Disability Access Service, DS, program to include a diverse range of disabilities, not just developmental disabilities, incorporating the option to provide documentation. Devices and programs that are offered as an accommodation must be free or low cost, abundantly available, and only given to those who will truly benefit from them. Train all cast members in anti-ableism and invisible disabilities. Party size should be considered on a case-by-case basis. Reduce prices on Genie Plus and offer guests a limited number of free passes for certain attractions to reduce pressure for people to cheat the system in the first place. Additional disability-friendly accommodations should be added to the park, including return times for character meet and greets with long lines and increased parade and nighttime spectacular viewing areas for disabled guests who cannot stand. Meet with us, a group of actually disabled park guests, to learn about the true needs of disabled guests before new policies are introduced. Quote, we implore Disney to uphold its values of inclusivity and accessibility, values represented in disabled characters like Dahlia, Nemo, Destiny, Dory, Bo Peep, Mama Coco, Mama Odie, Piglet, and in Roy Disney himself, whose disability benefit payments helped Roy and Walt start the company in the first place. Disney must ensure that all individuals, regardless of their disability, can experience the magic of Disney parks without barriers. DS Defenders. DS Defenders started a change.org petition called Stop Excluding Disabled People from Disneyland and Disney World with Discriminatory Policy, which has 179 signatures as of publication. Now back to the Coffee Time crew.
I would have thought they would have had a bigger petition than 179 folks, but Disney trying to get themselves in trouble with this one. I mean, I heard it in the last one we had, Pedro, but I didn't know that they was actually implementing it. I know they had talked about they could, but this is crazy. But again, I say, an app will fix all that. A simple app will fix all of this.
Yeah, but some people might not even use an app. Sometimes we run in barriers with some of these apps that is, if it was tailored to disabled people and blind people, because they like to put maps, and as a blind individual, I have problems with maps, especially like maps within, let's say, Universal app or the Knots app. I can't navigate those maps at all. They just show you like a
Right, they're
like a
graphic
picture,
maps.
like a
Right, they're
graphic. Yeah,
they're graphic maps. But well, no, what I'm saying, I mean, as far as this
keeping a line.
rides,
Yeah, they do
the
have it in
ride,
the apps.
I just, rather than trying to exclude everybody, just go in there, set up your itinerary, what you want to do for the day. Have the option to skip a ride or maybe take a lunch break or whatever, and then restart your agenda, whatever. You know what I'm saying? And then that way you ain't got to worry about people standing in line and seeing some other people walking up, because everybody's gonna walk up. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I
That's
mean,
something
any
to try. Sounds good.
you're not showing any favoritism to anybody disabled. They just fall in the schedule where they fall in the schedule. They know what time to be at that ride,
Yeah,
just like everybody else.
Right.
yeah. That sounds cool. I wonder if they tried that. I know in Universal app you could place hold your line, but when I was trying to do it, I couldn't do it. I had to get somebody sighted to place me in line.
Okay,
So
well, I mean,
but
again,
it's there. I ran
it's
through a
there.
barrier. And that's pretty
It,
dope though, what you're saying, because then it beats the whole guessing and how long I'm gonna wait in line. Am I gonna wait an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours? Some lines get up to 3 hours, guys, in these theme parks. And
right. I get it.
mm-hmm,
And that would probably help cut it down, because again, let's say like a roller coaster. You know how many cars you have. You know how many people each car. You know what I'm saying? Seats, right?
yes, of course.
Yeah. So, and you know how long it takes to run that ride, to get the people loaded, get them off, get them back in the station and unloaded, and new set in, whatever. All that stuff. Use AI for that kind of stuff. Work out that schedule. Then you just fill up that many people in each slot. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Then you got. You
So
feel what I'm saying? Give them a little grace period. 3 to 5 minutes. If they don't show up, then they bumped out of line. You know.
Yeah, yeah. A little more than
Right.
3 to 5 minutes because some
Yeah.
people are in wheelchairs. But that aside too, I know they were saying that um they might not be able to bring a guest with them.
Well,
Like
and again,
PCA that
but if
we're
you
able
do
to bring an app.
the app now, is now you can, okay, you got everybody's, when you do your ticket, it's a skew, okay, and then you do this skew where it's a group. Now you got that one person in the group that's putting together the agenda, and everybody that's in that group is in.
Yes.
You feel me?
Yeah, yeah, but that aside, yeah, I know what you're talking about the app. I'm just saying Disney had stopped that with this new policy, and that's why people are upset also.
Well,
Yeah, so if you want to know more, Google, sign the petition. If you don't agree with what Disney is doing, but in that note, got one more article. It's about iOS, the update coming up. So let's get into it very fast.
Everything new in the iOS 17.5 beta. Apple is currently testing iOS 17.5, the fifth major update to the iOS 17 operating system that came out last September. Like iOS 17.4, iOS 17.5 primarily focuses on regulatory changes in the European Union, but there are a few other features worth noting. This guide aggregates everything that's been found during the iOS 17.5 beta testing period so far. App downloads from websites, EU only. iOS 17.5 introduces support for web-based app distribution in the European Union, allowing developers to offer their apps for download directly on their websites. Apps can be downloaded from websites in the EU as of the second beta. As with the iOS 17.4 changes that added alternative app marketplaces, this functionality is limited to the iPhone and can only be used in the EU. Developers need to be a member of the Apple Developer Program for 2 continuous years or more and must have more than 1 million first installs on iOS in the prior year to offer an app for download. All apps downloaded from websites onto iPhones must submit to Apple's notarization process, and while there is no commission to pay to Apple, Apple does charge a €0.50 core technology fee. Podcast widget. The Podcasts widget that can be added to the home screen or the lock screen now features a background that changes depending on the art of the podcast that's being played. Mobile device management. MDM solutions are able to enforce a beta version during automated device enrollment. Automated device enrollment is designed to simplify initial device setup. Now back to the coffee time crew.
Yeah, so we just got a couple of small little features there. The podcast widget. So if you're into podcasts, you're able to have that in your lock screen and your home screen. I take advantage of these widgets all the time, especially my calendar. My reminders is there. So, I have my calendar is half of my screen, like the top 2 rows, actually, like a quarter of my screen. And then I have a little square. It's like 4 apps. Imagine a little 4 square grid, 2 on top, 2 on the bottom. That's the space that my widgets for my reminders takes, you know. Then I have a smart widget. And this widget is a Siri widget, a smart Siri widget. That is the bottom 2 rows of my home screen. And this, depending on what I'm doing, the time of the day, where I'm at, or if it detects movement or whatever I might be traveling, it adjusts the apps right there. So it switches these like 8 apps. I think it's 8 to 10 apps, 2 rows of apps, and it changes these apps. So, for example, when it knows I'm out in a vehicle, it puts Voice Vista right there. It puts my Files app, and it puts another navigational app called Lasorito, and it puts them right there. And it puts a couple of other apps, so it knows it's a smart widget. So it
okay.
it customizes those apps right there. So I don't have to go looking all over for them. It starts knowing what am I using, or at what time and where at. So that's pretty neat. And
Sound like you shared a lot of information with your phone.
what do you mean?
Well, I mean, it's monitoring everything. You know, again, you giving it information on everything you're doing because it's gathering that in order to be able to predict when you're going to want to use these other apps and stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's just keeping a
Yeah, but
log of that.
the thing about the iPhone, it stays on device.
Right,
It's not
I
like
get
a Google
that.
phone that will connect and be like, okay, since he's moving through different connections and we're pinging his phone, we know what to kind of show him there. This is doing it within on device, so it's not even going out to uh, Apple services. Plus, it's not doing it by location. That's one of the things they do have off for a lot of stuff, mostly everything, including the Apple. All that is turned off, and so I might do a class on that, how to get really deep into it and cut off that all that out. But this widget just detects your activity probably by knowing you're moving by your accelerometer and stuff like that. The sensors it already has on the phone. Yeah, because I am cautious of sharing too much data online, especially with um, media companies and other social media companies and other companies, because sometimes they
Right,
sell your stuff and it's like
of course
all
they
these
do.
all these calls, all these emails. Come on, man. I'm over here doing business with you. I'm over here helping your business, actually posting and giving you some of my info. But come on, don't sell it around and stuff. Come
Right,
on.
right. That's right.
They do what they do. It's corporate America, man. You know what I'm saying? It's all about that almighty bottom line.
That mighty dollar.
You know, so but
Once again, remind us of the groups we have tonight, Ed, before we head out.
okay, yeah, we got Deborah Erickson at 2 p.m. Pacific time with the cook the Blind Kitchen. And again, she's talking about cutting techniques and tools and stuff for folks with low vision. And then at 4, we got Sean and the introduction to AI. And I don't know what he's got for us today, but I'm quite sure it'll be something that most people would be amazed with. And then, of course, we got you later on at 7 p.m. with get into all the touch stuff on the phone, showing everybody how to set up all these various touch items.
Yeah, yeah, settings within accessibility. You know, you could do shake to undo, assistive touch, use your lock button to hang up calls, or if you want to turn that off there, this and that little section too. We're also taking a look at voiceover rotor items and the different aspects and what they do. You have rotor actions for braille displays if you have a braille display. So if you need quick settings already in your rotor, this is the class you might want to attend just to check those rotor items out and activate them and put them to use. 'Cause they have,
Yeah, I use my rotor not the way you use yours. Of course, I use my phone, but not the way you use yours. But yeah, I like my rotor. I got stuff on my rotor I need to use. I'm of course, like you say, the typical character and words, links, different stuff like that. Keyboards, all that
yeah,
kind of stuff. So language.
yeah, yeah,
So
that's right. And then I have one that is called touch enabled, right? Certain applications, and for a quick example, I have a DJ application that is an auto DJ. It has two touch parts on the screen. So if I turn touch on, direct touch, like it's not direct touch because it's not typing, but it's direct touch. Okay, you're able to turn the turntable like if you like, you don't have to double tap or nothing. You just do the turntable. But for certain apps, you might need to slide a slider, and that slider it has to be touched, and that little feature helps you do all that. So we have
okay.
so many features, even switching languages, text fields, search fields, tables, buttons, travel by buttons, travel vertically. You
a
know,
lot of stuff you can put in that rotor. So, and make sure you include some lessons on how to use that rotor, because a lot of people have trouble with that as well. So come in and check out Pedro tonight at 7 p.m. and we're gonna talk about all that good stuff. So thank you, everybody. Enjoy your hump day, as Brittany say. Hump someone you love, and we'll see you guys later on in the groups, and as well as tomorrow morning with another Coffee Time with Blind United. Y'all have a blessed day.